Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Mishna Yomi. Today we're starting the last parak of Masechah Sheviis. Parak Yud, Mishnayos Aleph and Beis. Just to set the record straight, I am wearing a jacket and tie because of professionalism, not because I'm a rabbi. If I wanted to be a rabbi, I would have a long beard and I would take off the tie to look more yeshivish. I am not. I'm doing this professionalism. I'm giving professional level content, professional level shiurim, professional level interviews I'm doing about finances of the Haredi world, and that's it. I mean, I'm a cool guy. I don't act like a rabbi. I'm not a rabbi at all. I don't have smicha. I don't intend to be a rabbi. So if you're unhappy with the fact that I started donning a jacket and tie and looking like a rabbi, it is not because I want to look like a rabbi. It is because I want to look more professional, which I hope people respect professionalism. If you want to meet someone important, a dignitary, you put on something nice. You put on a jacket. You put on a tie. You don't put on a black hat necessarily, but maybe if you're living 100 years ago, you put on a black hat. But all right, let's get into it. Mishna Aleph Sheviis Mishametes Es Hamilveh B'Shtar V'Shlo B'Shtar. We're going to talk about halacha we haven't really talked about Shemitah. It also says in the Torah that during Shemitah, besides working the land, it's also you're supposed to, if you have a loan, someone owes you money, once Shemitah ends, you can't collect it anymore. Meaning once, going to be Rosh Hashanah this year, in a couple of months from now, technically now if someone owed me money, I can still collect it. But once the end of the year comes, the Gemara says Mishameta Besofa, right, the end of the year comes, I can no longer collect. Once the Sheviis starts, Rosh Hashanah the Sheviis, so then I can no longer collect a loan. One of the things that Sheviis does. So it does that whether you have a document written that someone owes you, or you did it al peh, milva al peh, someone lent you money, or I lent someone money just with the Edom, can't collect after the 8 year. Now we're going to see a prusbal. Most people write a prusbal in order to be able to collect their loans, but this is not talking about a prusbal. We'll get there on the next shir. Let's say you go to the store. A lot of people do this. They go to the store and get credit at the store. Right, put on my cheshbon, right? So you owe money. So there, Eina Mishametes, the store owner is allowed to collect the money even after Shemitah. We'll explain why. But if you made it a legitimate loan, you said, okay, the store owner said, you know what? Now you owe me $30 for this Ben and Jerry's, 3 Ben and Jerry's ice cream we just bought. So, Masam Milveh Hareza Mishameh, and it's like a regular loan, and therefore you can't collect it. Rehuda Omer Harishon Mishameh. Rehuda has an interesting shita. He says when you go to the store, so if you just bought one thing, so then the hakafas chanas, you can't take it. But if you bought 2 things, so the first thing becomes a milveh. The first thing you took on credit from the store that he could collect, that he can collect. The second thing he could collect, that's called hakafa, and so on. And so only the latest payment is called hakafa. The other ones are called a milveh, and he can't collect. We don't pass like a Yehuda. Schar sachir eina mishamet. Again, if you hired a worker to work for you, so that you could collect, the worker could collect his wages even after Shemitah doesn't cancel, his wages aren't canceled. Masal milveh harezim mishami, but he made it into a loan, right? He said, okay, so I'm makabel. The person who hired the guy said, I'm hiring you to babysit my kids. Now it's a loan, so you want to get out. You don't have to pay the babysitter after Shemitah. Yossi on Rakom Alachash Posekas B'Shvius Mishamedes Sheina Posekas B'Shvius Sheina Mishmedes. Yossi has an interesting shita, which is not the halacha. He says any malacha that's also to do during Sheviis Mishametes, then Sheviis disables you from collecting a loan. But if it's not, if the malacha that you hired someone is not a problem with Sheviis, like babysitting, Eina Mishametes, then Sheviis doesn't cancel the loan. You're able to collect the loan. We don't pass by this. Beis Hashochet es hapara b'chilka Rosh Hashanah. Right? People want to have meat for Rosh Hashanah, have a nice suda on Rosh Hashanah. So they didn't shecht an animal before. They shecht the cow, and they divided on Rosh Hashanah. Im haya chodesh me'uber mishame. Now, when you divide up the animal, you sort of make it a loan, right? This person, the butcher goes when he shechts and he divides it with the people. They owe the butcher money, right? So if it's chodesh me'uber, meaning it's a year where Elul Rosh Hashanah is a 2-day yontif. This is talking about before we established the calendars, or our Rosh Hashanah is Aleph and Beis Tishrei. But it used to be, if it was Ma'ubar, it was Lamed Elul and Aleph Tishrei. So therefore, it's Mechudesh Ba'uber. So therefore, the Lamed, it's Mishamed, whatever they did it the first day of Rosh Hashanah. So therefore, it was a chov. It's not like hakafas hachanas where you take something in credit because you're doing a business deal. Shech me the para, shech me this animal, and I want the ribs. So therefore, it's a loan basically that you owe him, and therefore he can't collect from you. Malav eno mishamet. If it's not over, the Rosh Hashanah is only one day, then it's Aleph Tishrei. So then eno mishamet. It doesn't cancel the loan because it was the chov was on Shminis, not Sheviis. Aones mafatim what's your shame? If you're chayav money because you raped someone, you're mafata someone, you seduced someone, or you're motzi shemra, you said something bad negatively about someone. The case of the motzi shemra in the Torah is where you said a nara mirasa, a girl is engaged, she committed adultery, and you found it to be a liar. In mishamtin, those things, it's not canceled by Sheviis. The person can collect after Sheviis. Hamal vel amashkon. Again, if you do a business deal, you take out a loan and you give them collateral. Or you give up, instead of you saying come collect, I'm saying I'm giving to a basin of 3 people. Here's my shtaros, you collect instead of me. And the Sheviis does not cancel the loan. We're going to explain that in Mishna coming up right now.